Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Wednesday. It is April 4th. This will be our chart lesson for the day, and this was an incredible day. It's all uphill. I wouldn't recommend taking any shorts. You might have considered a few right in here, but that's the first break. Really, we got a little bit of a close outside here and a new high. Again, we had a close out here, but it didn't matter because the trend just kept going. So and then we had a little bit of a sell-off, which I would usually, if we continue higher from there, I would generally look at that as maybe the center part of a larger pattern. We didn't quite get there, but notice that we've got the darker blue is the new channel, and generally what will happen is you'll get one that starts off too steep and then it'll flatten out. But today it started off just a perfect 45-degree angle and then it went steeper. So it just was a really bullish day, really incredible day. I mean, there's trades all through here. I was done very early this morning and I had one of my better days. So hopefully you had a good day too. So really, all you had to do was buy and you couldn't hardly go wrong as long as you followed the rules. If you bought anywhere near these trend lines, you likely made money. And if you tried to buy, if you didn't follow the rules, you can get burned on a day like this because you think it's going to keep going higher, but it's going to come back to the key entry point, to the EMA, and that's where you want to look. You want to buy on correction, so just remember that. But I'm doing this a little early today. It's not quite, it's not even 3:15 yet, so the market has not quite, actually, I take that back. My clock says 4 o'clock. I guess my clock has not changed for some reason the clock on my computer has not changed for daylight savings time for the change or whatever because it's showing 4 o'clock and my regular clock is showing 3 o'clock on the wall, but I'm looking at my phone and it's showing 3 o'clock too. So I got concerned there for a minute that I was maybe an hour behind, but no, I'm not. The market is not quite closed yet. It won't close till 3:15 my time. So it's been a really strong day. We have sold off a little bit where we're back to this original trend line, so I wouldn't be surprised if we don't bounce from that into the close, but we will see. But I'm doing this a little early today is where I was going. I'm going to a ball game tonight, baseball game, so I've got to get out here a little bit early today, so I'm doing this a little bit earlier. I'm going to move through this pretty quickly because I'm running short of time and I want to make sure I get a chart lesson out today on an exciting day like this. So I'm going to go through the trades a little quicker than probably normal, but bear with me and we'll be back again tomorrow to wrap up our week. But anyway, here we go. I'm going to start the 7 o'clock hour. We were right in here kind of working down when I came in, just kind of making this high really when I came in, and we're working down. And notice what happens. You made a new high here. You actually had a close outside and a new high, but we're really kind of going sideways here. And price is just fine. I don't have this line on here. Just go ahead and put it on there so you can see it. And there's some support right across there that you had to be concerned about. You might have even had it up here at one time, but you want to move it down as you get these closes and stuff across here. And I ended up looking at it across here, and you can see we closed there a few times here, then here. So this is basically a double test. And you really could have gone long here, but you're better off to wait and see to make sure you get a higher low and see if you get that second entry. And notice that new high pull back first entry that it pulls back again. So there's a second entry long right there. That was an ideal place to enter. Quick, easy scalp. And you could have got a couple of extra points there if you tried to get out with any runners right up along here. We actually made a new high and then we worked back down. But notice how we're coming down here. You get a close outside new low and you try to go lower again, and I drew that trend line off those first couple of bars there, and then it comes back and you're really going sideways here and it just drops down. But that's a second entry long when it breaks above that bar, and it's a relatively small bar compared to what we've been getting. And even though it's not a perfect bar, let me see if I can make this a little bigger. It's still a relatively bullish bar. So I like going long there. And off it goes. It actually pulls back and makes a higher low here. So you could have considered entering there as well. But at this point, I'd probably wait on that true reversal pattern, which comes right here. That one I probably should mark it green at least. I would have been afraid to enter there, but really this was the better place to enter. And then of course here was that pattern we've been seeing over and over and over, that failed second entry short at a reversal type point. And notice off it goes again. You get another little correction right here, but now we're right into we're right along all this resistance area right here. And we did get a close outside a new high, and that is a second entry long as well. Notice that high, pullback first entry, pullback second entry, but you're just really going kind of sideways there. And so I wasn't crazy about that one. Again, if you want to be aggressive, you could argue for it. But then, of course, we make that new high and we pull back. And you really, at this point, you're not sure if we're going to get back in this range, which is going sideways, or if we're going to go higher. It's kind of hard to say, but this trend channel is fitting perfectly. We just haven't come back to it yet. So we pull back here, we're working up, we're working down, and notice that we made a new high and you're coming down. First entry, pull back. There's a second entry long right there, but that is more of a bearish to a neutral bar, and I just couldn't justify entering there, so I think you want to wait on the higher low. Higher low comes here, and that bar is very similar to that one, so I don't like it either. And so now let's wait on our reversal pattern, our failed second entry short, which comes here. And because that's worked so often, you are going long at the high here. But if this channel is correct, we're probably headed up here. And so I like that one. It worked with a couple of ticks to spare, but anything more than that, we didn't get it. And notice here, we came back again. But now you got to go along right into a 2-bar matching high. And this really should have taken on off if this was going to be a good pattern. Probably it didn't. So just kind of sit tight and see what happens. And notice we work back, and lo and behold, you get a second entry right off the key entry point, the trend line. It got confirmed here. Now it's reconfirming it. You do have a little bit of a trend line working down, and you don't have a close outside, but being a second entry with the trend right off the key entry point, I'm going to take that one. And look at it, it takes off again. And then you get your true revert. And it actually went lower here and turned and went out the upper side, but it's right back into that high. Again, you could argue for that one, but there's been so many good trades. Why risk those kind? Just wait and see if you get that reversal. And look, it comes right here, and you get a relatively small bar. So you get a small entry versus this huge one that you're taking a risk on. And where does it go? Right to the upper side, right where you expect. And now what will you expect to happen is probably coming back. And it comes back down, and it just starts going sideways. Just stay out of that. Hopefully it'll break lower, and you'll get some kind of failed break lower setup. And again, it does, but you really don't get a good setup. It just looks very congestive. But notice what happens. You got a new low, and first entry short, pull back second entry short. It fails with a bullish bar. I like going long there. And notice how this bar starts, and it looks very negative. It looks like it's going to trap everybody. It scares everybody, and then look what happens. That was the trade of the day right there. And all they did was try to scare everybody out. But if you trusted the pattern, and we've seen it work over and over and over, there it goes. And you got a short-term 2-tiered channel in there too. And then it's running up. You actually make a new high, first entry, pull back second entry, and then it comes back. But by the time you get this off the key entry point, you're really going sideways. So even though it would have worked, I'm probably not going to take that one. And turns up, and then it's coming down. First entry long, pull back, and then you get another second entry long right there at the key entry point. You closed outside this trend line, made a new low, and that's a relatively bullish bar. I like that one. You had to kind of ride it out, but then you get your failure, your true failure here, because notice that new low, first entry, move up second entry, and look at that bullish bar. go long right there. I actually already had my stop in place above this bar, and as soon as that one closed, I was pulling it down, and I was entered almost instantly on that one. I actually took this trade, and so I know you could get filled there. I was able to do it. You had to be really quick, but I know you could get filled there. It did kind of hop around. It tried to come back a few times, but it never could fill that gap. It would run up here and it'd run back down, and you could tell they were trying so hard to fill that little gap, but they never could do it. But it gave you a chance to get in this trade before it took off. So I remember that one specifically because that's one of the trades I took today. Generally, I don't talk much about my trades, but in that case, I felt like it was worth speaking about. And that's that pattern again that we keep looking for. It's off the key entry point, and you can ride this. This was a nice move, and it takes off, pulls back here at the EMA, and that's been pushing on higher each time. So, but I'm not crazy about entering there. It is off this. Well, really, that kind of sets the trend line, so you really don't have a lot of information there until this one to kind of confirm that, and that's not a good enough bar. So I don't like entering there, but then it comes back, and you get a close outside a new low, and it takes off again. But again, a very neutral bar. I don't think it's worth risking all the way up here at these highs. Let it come back and reset again. And then now you got one working down. You get a close outside, move to a new low. Notice it goes higher right there, pulls back, and it gives you another. And this one actually went lower and turned, and I liked going long right there. And it's enough to get out. Didn't go any further, unfortunately. But it still works out just following the rules of that little trap. And then, of course, it comes back again. And notice what happens here. This our favorite pattern once again. Makes a new low. First entry pushes through the EMA, pulls back second entry, and it bounces right off the trend line. Go long right there. And look at it take off again. Another big, nice move. Another trade, another easy trade. It was just following a repeat pattern we've seen 2 dozen times in the last couple of days alone. And then we just kind of start going sideways here. I don't like going long into that, especially at these kind of highs after this big of a move already. But it does end up pushing through, and then it's coming down. And I just didn't feel comfortable going short. You get that failure here, that's the pattern that continues to work, but it's right into that trend line. And so that makes me very leery of it. As you can see, it would have worked. I probably should have taken it, but notice there's a lot of congestion there. You got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 bars, at least one sure doji. Okay, had a little interruption there, but I think we were talking about this trade. I didn't feel comfortable taking any shorts here. You might have taken that one, but it's right into that trend line, and I'm really scared of it. You see how many times it's bounced right up and down through that trend line. That's been a very important support area, so I was scared of it. But notice if you're just patient and you wait, and then you get a little overshoot here, and you get that first entry, and then a second entry short, and it's also a second entry long because there's a new high, first entry, second entry. So I'm taking that. It's worked over and over, and look at it. Quick, easy move. Comes back, and it tests this trend line again. A little congestion, pushes out, a little breakout pullback, goes lower right there. Checks that trend line again and turns up, closes a big bullish, nice bullish bar. I'm taking that one again, and look at it go. And if you just catch that one trade, look at it go, and you got a runner on that one. And I don't feel comfortable entering. You actually get that reversal pattern right here, but at that point, this looked like the upper side of the channel, so I'm not going long right there, even though it continues to go higher. I'm not going to, you're too far away from the EMA up here. Let it come back. It'll come back shortly. And notice it comes back. There's a first entry, pull back. There's a second entry there, but that's too bearish. I don't have my line on here. But notice that little trend working down there. You get a close outside new low, and it bounces again. The only reason I made this one green is late in the day, and this was really your signal bar. So you might let it break above that one, or you could really put a stop there, but your safety stop still has to go down here. So it's not an ideal setup, but I still like it. So I marked it green, and notice how it takes off. And then you just start going sideways. You get a little failed brake lower here, but that's more neutral to bearish than it is anything. So I don't like entering above that, even though it would have worked. You got this next bar here, so you might have let it break above that one, then dropped a limit order back here, and it would have pulled back and filled you right there. And so I'll mark it like that under those circumstances if you played it that way. But I wouldn't enter on that with a buy stop or anything. And you can see that resistance or that support right across there. And that really got you into the 2 o'clock hour. So really great day. I mean, there were so many entries up through here, and you couldn't hardly go wrong with them if you bought any of these corrections near this trend line. And the only one that really didn't bounce was right here. And if you look at that, there's nothing in there you should really be wanting to enter on anyway. So there wasn't really much that could trip you up on that one. If it did, go back and review the rules. And there's just too much congestion. That's one of those areas you just want to stay out of. And so it really was a great day. I wish it could be like this every day, but hey, it is what it is. And hopefully you had a good day. But maybe we'll get another day like this tomorrow. We'll have to see. But I'm going to wrap it up for today. Again, I hate I had to rush through this. It's still 16 minutes worth, 17 minutes. So, but we'll be back again to do it tomorrow, but I'm done for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.